Now to Dallas, another Super Bowl contender. We start with the positive. Led by Micah Parsons, the Cowboys defense leads the NFL in pressure percentage, and their pass rush win rate of 58% on pace to be the highest by any team since the 2017 Eagles, who of course won the Super Bowl. But Dan, you saw an issue with that defense on Sunday against the Eagles that could be their fatal flaw. What is it?
When smart coaches take number 11 out of the game. Both San Francisco and Philadelphia do it. Number one, they do it by putting two bodies on him in the run game. 4 hands, 2 sets of them. Double tight ends, motion outside in. Watch this run. They get both tight ends saying, Michael, you are not going to blow this play up or wreck this play. Happened 6 different times in this football game alone. The second thing, we saw it from San Francisco, we saw it from Philadelphia. Who's not on the field, guys? Number 11, Micah Parsons. When he's off the field, teams make it very clear. We are taking our shots downfield. Look at the pocket. Look how long Jalen holds it. All of a sudden, touchdown. Remember, San Francisco with Brock Purdy did it. The third thing, they don't block them. 7 times in this football game, they did not block them. Get them into that 4-by-1 formation, and they go with that zone read, potential screen to that bubble side or bunch side. Micah's unblocked. They're putting him in conflict. So I do believe very clearly, this is a big deal to me. Dallas and Dan Quinn have to figure it out. Does he take less breaks? What are they going to do when teams put him in conflict? They know they can't block him. So instead of blocking him, they just go, we're not gonna, and we'll just read them. We'll put him in conflict. Marcus, I think it's a big deal. I honestly do. When they play against smart football teams, coach-wise, Philly and San Francisco, they got to figure out who, besides Micah, can dominate the games.
And Dan, that's you are exactly right. We've seen Nick Bosa be done this way.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of the prolific defensive guys that you choose to either run away or you give them so much to look at, what you call eye candy as a defensive player. What they have to do, to me, is, one, you're correct, identify someone else. But remember, Dallas is hampered at the linebacker spot. And I don't think people realize how important Leighton Vander Esch is to this defense as far as being in the center where you could free Micah up. But think about it. He lined up at middle linebacker. He rushes from the middle of the pocket at times. You put him on the end of the line of scrimmage. So formationally, coaches are always like, we can identify where 11 is all the time. It's different, right? Chris Jones sometimes, he lines up wherever the hell he wants to.
Right.
And you can't plan for that on the fly. You got Aaron Donald, who used to switch from outside to inside. You'll find him all over the line of scrimmage. I think you keep Micah close to the football and don't put him in one spot. I think that's the answer for Dan Quinn.
Let me ask you this, the 2 things. One, when he comes off the field, is there something they can do about that? And then the second thing is, when he is in conflict, is he playing too hesitant? How do they get better at that?
Well, you got to declare. Guys like Micah Parsons, you see TJ Watt, you have to declare for him. Myles Garrett, declare, hey, man, you have full pursuit to the football, and we'll cover you. Dan, you remember how I used to show how when you playing defense and everybody is responsible and the ball kind of flushes out to the end of the line of scrimmage to your free hitter? When you got guys like, this is why great defensive players get paid so much money. When you got guys like that, the other 10 are supposed to allow them to go hunt. We did it with DeMarcus Ware. Right. That's what Pittsburgh does with TJ Watt. Yep. You have to allow those guys almost to be like Troy Polamalu was in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Allow them to play free and let everybody else say, we'll cover you when you miss something.
I'm telling you, Cowboys fans, it's a real thing, man. When he comes off the field, teams are very clear. We're taking our shots, and they're putting him in conflict. It's going to happen more.
Well, my point is on the other side of the line of scrimmage. It's the offensive line, because people are taking that same mentality against the Cowboys' offensive line, and they're feasted specifically on that right side where Terrence Steele is. Now, look, they're battling injuries with Tyron Smith, but they have a lot of talent on this O-line, and they're not executing. And it's just not in the pass game. Yep. The staple of this offense has been running the football, that offensive line. They're only averaging 3.9 yards a carry, which I think is 21st. And for Dak in this offense, if they can have an offensive line that solidifies the run and open these holes for Pollard, it's going to make it tough for them down the stretch.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've talked about him getting in a better rhythm last week, even though they weren't able to get the win. Dak Prescott's been sacked 19 times over the last 6 weeks. That's a lot. That's the 4th most in the NFL during that span. He's getting hit a ton and taken